your feedback tonight from this event for future events as well, and to find out how we've done and how we can improve. So the link, the QR code will be in the link at the end, and the link will be in the chat function at the end of the event. So please stay on to the end. We'd love to hear from your feedback. And also, if you do want to ask questions, please highlight the guest that you would like to ask the questions to, and that will go in the chat box, and James or Carl will pick them up and send them on to me, so I'll be able to see who wants to ask a question to which guest. We hope you enjoy it. So we're going to start now. I'm going to introduce you and welcome to our guests. We've got 4 guests tonight. The first guest is Comfort Etim, current Advocacy Policy Officer at Refugee Women's Connect, former Nigeria and Tottenham Hotspur women's football player, and current player of Amnesty Ladies with the County FA and LFC Foundation. Comfort, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
There she goes. She's come off now. We can hear you. You okay?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Good. I've got to say, I've read a lot about you, and the journey that you've been on is just incredible. It really is. And what you're doing now to try and inspire people after going through what you've been through yourself and using your own experiences, it really is amazing to see. And if there was more people like you, the world would be an easier place to live in. So I take my hat off to you. So I'm going to ask you a few questions now, if that's okay. Yeah,
that's fine.
Good. So what made you follow football as a career path, and what did the early days look like for you?
Football has always been a thing that my family has always been part of. My mom being a football coach, and as a young girl growing up, it has been my utmost dream of becoming a professional footballer one day and hoping to be a football coach as well as my mom. It's this burning passion and desire that I have for the game of football. For me, football was just not something that I was just passionate about. Football was also a way of escape from poverty, and a way of escape to be able to achieve something and give back in the little way that I can, because I've seen my mom do it. So it's something that I've always wanted to follow suit. So for me, football growing up was just everything for me. It was a lifeline. It kept me safe, even though there were so many barriers and so many obstacles. But it has just been something that I just see myself doing and nothing more. But it has been a journey. Like I said, there were a lot of challenges, but my background has always been football due to the impact my mom had in me.
Yeah, I think I know the next question, but to everyone listening, if you do want to look up Comfort Etim's, the upbringing and journey, it is quite inspirational, and I think it will give a lot of you real belief that you can achieve what you want to in life and in your careers as well. So I think I know the answer to this next question, because I think you mentioned it in there. But who were the role models in your life and inspired you on your journey?
Yeah, obviously my mom. I'll say my mom has been a source of inspiration. My mother was obviously the first certified female football coach in Nigeria. She coached me, tutored me. She's been a great inspiration. Seeing her, conquering a lot of barriers, even as a female coach, just inspired me to want to be like her. Obviously, there were some challenges that she faced, and she never wanted her girl child to go through the same. So she had some kind of reservation as to encouraging me to go into sports, football per se, because she didn't want me, like I said, to go through the things that she went through. But unfortunately, she didn't know how much of her character that is embedded in me, and I just wanted to be like her. So I would say my mom really inspired me. Her resilience, her strength, her determination, the passion that she had for the game, especially grassroots. One of our favorite words would be catch them young. And when she does catch the young ones, she would say, be determined, be dedicated, and be disciplined. You can achieve everything you want to achieve. She really does inspire me.
Well, that's amazing. You stick by them policies and that advice, then you won't go far wrong. You talk about, as I said before, your story is really inspirational, and it actually choked me up a little bit when I've been reading about it the last few days. You talked about how do you overcome, so what's the biggest thing that's helped you to overcome? I know you talk about your mum and all your challenges, and you've had many challenges. What's the biggest thing that's helped you? Is it just the drive to be better, to want to help people? What's your biggest drive to overcome these challenges?
Definitely to be able to help other people in my situation. I've always wanted to help. I've always wanted to give back. So that, in itself has made me to be so determined in conquering every obstacles that I have faced. When I look at it and I look at myself and I say, right, you're not just doing this for yourself. You're doing it for one, your children. I'm a mom of two. Secondly, you're doing it for the people that you want to be able to give back to, whether in the country where I currently reside or going back home and, setting up my own foundation. So it has always been that determination in me, and that has kept me going and not, allowing me to give up at any point in time.
Is that, you mentioned just there, so you've set up your own foundation as well. So was that included? So when you thought about, right, how can I help going forward? What can I do? Was that part of your future plans to set up your own foundation?
Most definitely. You mentioned at the beginning that I am currently an advocacy policy officer for Refugee Women Connect. At first, I was an outreach worker. So working in an outreach setting and working with refugees and asylum seekers, one of the things that I really wanted to bring to the table was to reduce isolation, wanting them to feel like they were part of a thing. And what do I know best? Football. So I introduced the game of football to the women, which was, gladly embraced by everyone in my organization and the women as well. And some of the feedbacks are just amazing. Some of the women are like, at that moment when they are, in the field playing football with, other women, they forget about the situation that they're going through. They're not thinking about, where they've come from. They're just loving that moment and just enjoying themselves. So for me, that is, one of the things that just setting up the team obviously was not easy. There were other challenges as well. But thanks to the FA, Stuart, Terry, and everyone in the county FA who came on board, Anna, who came on board, had the meeting with me, encouraged me, and set me up. And the team is standing, which is the Amnesty Ladies, which I'm really proud of, and we're hoping to grow more after the lockdown.
Well, listen, we're lucky to have you as well, and it's great that the club are doing so much to help you, but also what you're doing as well. Last question: who do you support? Big question, this.
I can't say.
Right.
Sorry.
We better move on quickly then. Comfort, listen, it's been amazing talking to you. We'll talk again soon. Julie, we're going to go now to Julie Grundy. So, Julie, a former Leeds United player. I actually didn't know some of this stuff. 2 times league title winner. That's a little bit greedy. FA Cup and League Cup winner. Illustrious coaching and managing career spanning over 16 years, starting as a technical director for Leeds United, and most recently in 2018 appointed our academy manager for Liverpool Women. Hello.
Hi, Chris. You okay?
I asked you before if you've missed me, but I'm not going to let you answer that on live on the.
I miss everybody that I've not seen for a long time.
Yeah, good. Right. Okay. Good. So I know that. Listen, we've spoke before, and I know your job. What's the most rewarding and the best thing about parts of your job? I know it's very demanding, but what's the most rewarding and best things?
I think in terms of the short term, the pandemic is making sure that we can get girls back on the grass. That's right now. That's the most rewarding piece of that. I think seeing players develop, not just players, but the staff as people. So we look at talking about players and obviously staff that we work with, is making sure they develop as a person as well, because that's the values of the club. That's what attracted me to the environment, is because my values are very match up in terms of Liverpool way. So I think it's really important that that's the reason why I decided to take this position, is because that value piece, and that's the most rewarding piece for me as well.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. A lot of people, you're not just bringing, like you've mentioned there, you're not just trying to create a footballer to go on and become a first team player for the ladies, which yes is the ultimate goal, but you're also trying to create a lady and a woman to go into the world, whatever they're going to do, and be a good human being as well. A lot of clubs are taking that on board now. It's not just about trying to make them the best player. It's about trying to make them the best person, man, woman that they can be. And it's great to know that, and I obviously know a lot of the work that Liverpool do. It's great to know that, the people on this call will be, hopefully they will take that onto their clubs as well and instill that in their clubs as well, not just football. How do you approach the challenge of being academy manager at a club the size of Liverpool?
it's a big mantle, isn't it, to take on when you first. Obviously I knew the club anyway from in the women's game, obviously with the first title of WSL that they won. In terms of working with Leeds, before I came across, I was at Doncaster Bells, but when I was another position came up, I did a lot of research and background into the club and what the values was, and it really matched mine. I also looked at how it was inspiring and the family values that it obviously approached as well. And that really, for me, that's part of the process, because in terms of development of players and development of people or anybody in the environment, I do think it's important that value is crossed with the people and the culture as well, that what we create. So that really attracts me. That's really the attraction that Liverpool have. The Liverpool way has always been historic. I have got it in my heart as well a little bit. My stepfather did watch him years ago, so I remember sitting at home on the TV watching in his past now, so there's a little bit of a connection there with that. I will admit I am obviously Leeds born, so I have got a connection with Leeds. I am going to admit that before we go any further, but this club is so special. I think everybody knows, and yourself being in it, it's just something that you can't explain.
Yeah,
you find inside it, it's just totally different to anything I've experienced.
Oh, you're spot on. I mean, I obviously I've supported Liverpool in my life. My first game was 7. There's a lot of people on the call now. Carl, Ricky, we've all supported Liverpool, but until you actually get into the club, you don't realise. The first time I realised how big it was when we went away on a pre-season tour, and there must have been 2,000 people camping outside the hotel where we were. It was in Asia somewhere. You don't realise the world reach that Liverpool Football Club has got until you actually get into the club, and we're all extremely lucky to be here. What are your ambitions for the club then? Where do you want to take us, and how do you plan to contribute to that progress?
It's we definitely, and I'm assuming you know that obviously where the first team out at the moment, and the aspiration is for them to get back into WSL. How we support that, this is not just me, it's collective a team, because this is one thing, there's a team of people the side of me and around everybody that are really ambitious. And that's a key thing as well, that we've got ambitious people that want to drive this club forward. These challenges around that, obviously current pandemic situation and what we've been obviously through recently, but I think from where we are now is being the best we can be, and looking at how we can develop, but more importantly drive the academy programme forward. And that's obviously as staff as well as players involved in that, and the parents have a massive input into that as well. I think we don't really give that too much credit in terms of the parents in this environment, because it's even classed as elite. The support and the parents is really key and vital, like it is at grassroots. It's really the parent support that they have to be able to bring them to training or to help support that network, especially with the pandemic as well that's been going on now. It's really important for that as well. So I think I just wanted to mention that on the call, because I think it's really important that parent support, that they have that as well.
That's a brilliant point you've just made there, because I was down at the academy last night and there was so many lads down there, but all the parents driving them obviously having difficult times. Some are still working, some are still not working. You're talking the training probably 3 times a week plus games. It's a massive commitment from the parents as well to get the players to training, and you've just said it there. It's the parents, it's everybody at the club, it's the physios, it's the dinner ladies, it's the people taking the bins out. Everybody's equal in a club. There's nobody higher than anybody else. And the ultimate goal is to get them results, to get the first team promotion or to win league titles. And that is, everybody has an effect on that and has a contribution to do that. And if you don't do that, you don't win things. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
There's also an aspect of that obviously elitism, but also we're conscious that some players are not going to continue the journey any further with Liverpool. It's making sure that they're supported and ready for that transition. The academy environment, as well as due career programs, looking at the education piece around that, of what they'll do either when they leave the environment or when they come to retirement age as well, in terms of that career piece. So there's a lot of work going internally. I know the club, definitely the academy boys looking at alumni. We're going to link with that as well. There's a lot of work and good work that's going on to support the player, not just as that on the grass holistic approach to supporting the player.
That is massive as well, because people sometimes don't realise a player can be at a club from 8 years old all the way through up to 16 and get released. And for them 10 years, they're thinking, I'm going to be a footballer. I'm going to be a footballer. I don't want to do anything else. So there needs to be, and I think it's been talked about a lot, obviously, along with the mental health, there needs to be things after to support players. And it's good to know that you're going to do that and set up and if you encourage other teams to do that. Every team should be doing that for me. Every team. You can't just discard players and use them and then get rid of them. You need to support them after as well. What are your personal aspirations for the future?
My personal aspiration.
Play again? Is he playing again or?
Come on, Chris, you know this. You know this. He always wants to challenge me to a game, but mine playing days are over, thankfully. But I think for me personally, there's still a lot to do in this role. You know, my role's changed slightly in terms of becoming more strategic and operational anyway, which I'm finding really, really beneficial. I used to work as a women and girls officer for the West Riding County FA a number of years ago. Right. So I'm finding them skills are a great attribute to that as well. There's lots of work to do here. It's a development role, and that's my key strength is developing. And that's what I want to continue to do and help support the players and the staff. And obviously, the aspiration is to get the first team back to do BSL. So how we can do that as a club, as a team around that is really important.
Well, we all want that, and we all wish you the best as well, and we'll try and help you along the way. Julie, thank you for now. I'll let you go and make a cup of tea. Right now, this is what it's all about. We spoke to Comfort, obviously, and now we spoke to Julie. And the aim is to get players from the academy into the first team, the women's first team. And we're lucky now that we have got Rachel Laws, a goalkeeper for Liverpool FC. Liverpool FC's women's first signing of the summer 2020 in July. That seems a long time away at the minute. Previously spent 2 years in the Women's Super League with Reading, Women's Super League title winner with Liverpool FC Women back in 2013 when she was on loan from Sunderland. Rachel, welcome.
Thanks, Chris.
And we've also got Jessica Clark. Sorry, Jess. I'm used to calling you Jess. Jessica Clark. Jess joined the Reds from Notts County in April 2017, a vastly experienced player. Jess started her career with Leeds. Leeds has been mentioned a few times tonight, playing 2 FA Cup women's finals and won the Premier League in 2010. Internationally, Jess has earned more than 50 caps for England. Jess, great to have on.
Hi, Chris. You okay?
I'm good. How are you two?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Has it been tough during this time, during the COVID? Obviously, the routine, everything like that. Has it changed much?
It hasn't really for us. We've been kind of one of the fortunate bunch where we can still go into work every day and, you know, see other people outside of your household. Granted, it's the same 20 people every day, but, you know, there's a different conversation every day. And just getting out of the flats and kind of out into the world is lucky right now. And, you know, we're in a really privileged position to do that.
Brilliant. Jess?
Yeah, no, same as Lawsy, like I say. It hasn't really changed for us in that aspect. And I think it's really important in terms of that, especially, I don't know what I'm on about. No, what I was trying to say, similar to Lawsy, like it hasn't really changed that much for us in terms of that. So we're quite lucky in that respect.
Do you miss the off-field bonding? Obviously, you can't go to places like I know the team bonding for any team is huge. To be successful in any team, what you do off the pitch is just as important sometimes as what you do on the pitch. And obviously, not being able to do that, not being able to go into town shopping or shows or whatever you do, has that been hard as well?
For me, I feel like obviously it's been a huge change in that respect. I think obviously previously you was able to meet up with the girls, go for a coffee like you say. But we've been in this pandemic for a long time now, so it's kind of like you just become accustomed to it and you get into a routine and you find other ways of obviously entertainment. And like I say, because we're in training every day, we still have that kind of social bonding in that respect. So we're quite lucky, like I said before.
Right, same for you.
Yeah, it's always quite hard going to a new club anyway, let alone in the middle of a pandemic. And I knew a few of the girls before I arrived, so I was quite fortunate. But obviously the new girls coming in, signed Kerry recently, and poor girl hasn't been out and seen like Liverpool town and things like that. But like Jess said, we do spend a lot of time together on pitch, and if we've got an overnight stay, we're all on the bus or we're down there together eating food, and that's kind of when you get your social side. But yeah, we would love to go out for coffee and walks and things like that, but unfortunately we haven't been allowed. But at football, we're still in that privileged position where we can see each other and we can have a bit of banter.
Yeah, that will be back soon. Liverpool Foundation run programmes and initiatives to encourage girls and women's participation in football at all levels. Many of our girls see you as positive role models. How does that feel? Jess, do you want to take that one first?
It feels amazing. I mean, I've had, you know, over the course of my career, I've been like 10 years in the game, and I think, you know, leading by example and being a role model and encouraging the young players to get involved. And if I can help do that, like by putting in good performances on the pitch, and encourage that participation in that respect, is fantastic. And I hold that with pride in that respect. And I just hope that I can continue. Like for me, at the minute, I'm struggling with injury and stuff like that, but I want to get back to my best, and I hope that I can continue just to inspire the next generation.
Well, I've seen you at your best, and the sooner you're back to your best, the better for the team as well, flying down that wing.
Thanks, Chris.
You'll be back. Rach?
Yeah, same as Jess. You know, it's when we were younger, we didn't quite have that role model to look up to. You know, you had the odd one or two, but now girls growing up, you know, looking up to women in the female game is fantastic. You've got so much to choose from, and like Jess said, it's not just what you do on the pitch, but it's what you do off it as well. You know, you've still got to hold yourself to high standards, whether it be the social media, and you know, people are looking at that for kind of inspiration and in a bit of a, you know, a bit of a pathway. You know, I want to do that. You know, go to different clubs, move away from home, and yeah, it is amazing the feeling that it gives you. You know, when the fans are back in and things, and you're going up and you're signing autographs for the little girls, and they know your name and they've got your name on the back of the shirt. There's no better feeling. It's great.
Yeah, brilliant. So who have your inspirations been and role models through your career? Who you looked for and thought, yeah, I want to be like them? Do you want to take this one first, Rach?
Yeah, I'd have to say my mum as well. Just because from a young age she's worked hard. You know, she had 2 kids, brought them up on her own, and looking to her, I want, if I end up half the woman she is, I'll be very happy. And you know, she drives me every day to be better. She tells me when I haven't quite played good enough, which sometimes I need. But it's nice to hear, and she's always me go-to. And like I said, she drives me every day. She pushes me to be better on and off the pitch. And I think looking back, you probably don't realise it when you're a little bit younger, but the older I'm getting, the more I realise that if it wasn't for my mum when I was younger in football, taking me length and breadth of the country every hour of every day, and I probably wouldn't be where I am. In fact, I know I wouldn't be where I am, and you know, I would do a lot to her. But yeah, like I said, if I turn out to be half the person she is, I'll be okay.
Brilliant. Jess, just coming back, just come back to my daughter's a goalkeeper, and she's been watching all your videos and when ankles. Well, she's coming in training with Anchor a few times though, so she's been doing her homework on you. So it'd be great that she's actually listening through there now. She's actually putting me off a little bit.
Oh,
Yes.
No, same as Rach. It's my mum, and similar to Comfort, like football for me was a kind of an escape. You know, my mum, she had me at the age of 16, and predominantly my mum's side of the family are obviously white British. So obviously at a young age, my mum had to like bring me up on her own, obviously deal with finances on her own. And a lot of the time we struggle just for like the simple things, even like I say, something as silly as like even a warm dinner. Sometimes we struggle in that respect, and I think I found an escape through football, and to me it was kind of like, I'm going to try and use football to get me and my mum out of this situation if I can. Yeah. And I think my mum kind of inspired me without realising. So every day she'd get up, go to work, and I think just her hard work, her resilience, I kind of took them values from her and I implemented it into my football. And I'll be forever grateful for that, because she's kind of made me a very strong, resilient person. So obviously, you know, I absolutely love and adore my mum to bits, and I don't think I'd be where I am if it weren't for her.
I see. I've just seen Comfort nodded along there. I think that's touched Comfort as well, because there's similarities to which we'll hear about in a bit as well. So that's amazing to hear. I'm sure there's people on the call as well that take great inspiration from what you both just said there. Highlights your career. I think I probably know which this one's is. Unfortunately, I never got to sample this, but Rach, highlight of your career?
Yeah, it's got to be the WSL win with Liverpool. Going from what was a big jump for me at the time, I was at Sunderland, who were training twice a week. We were still Winter League, so we had just finished. And Matt Baird was the manager at the time, and he rang our manager at Sunderland, Mick Mulhern, and Mick rang us, and I thought it was a bit strange because, you know, the season had finished. I thought, why is Mick ringing us? And he said, oh, look, Rosie, Liverpool's goalkeepers both got injured. Matt's asking if you'd like to go kind of on a loan, but you will end up coming back. I says, absolutely. And I didn't hesitate. And looking back, if I hadn't have gone and done that, which was hard for me at the time because I'm such a home person and, you know, moving away from home, and looking back, if I hadn't made that jump then, one, I wouldn't have a WSL medal, and two, I probably wouldn't be the goalkeeper I am. Going from training twice a week to then training 4 or 5 times with the game as well, you got to work on so much, and I'll be forever grateful that Matt picked up the phone to Mick and chose me, because yeah, for me, that's my standout in my career so far, absolutely.
Well, I'm sure they did that for a reason, and it worked out well for me in the end. Jess?
You know, I've had so many fantastic experiences over the course of my career. I mean, obviously, I've been involved in World Cups, European Championships. I even got to play like a small part in the Olympics as well. So I've got so many highlights. But I think if I had to pick one, it'll probably be the World Cup. I think it was in the group stages. And I think at the time I wasn't really an established player within the squad. I was still finding my feet and, you know, trying to, you know, I was still learning, still developing. And I think we was in it must have been like the 84th minute, playing New Zealand, and we're in the group stages. And it was Hope Powell at the time. She looked to the bench, and we needed to win the game, otherwise we're out, we're getting knocked out. And she was like, Jess. So I thought, gosh, she's you know, she's putting a faith on me. She's gonna put me on. And she went, look, I'm gonna put you on for the last 5 minutes. And she was like, get me a goal. That's all I want from you. Just get me a goal. And obviously went on the pitch. We were a bit nervous. Had a few touches during the obviously like short period of time that we're on. And I think I like the ball just fell to me. I think it was Jill Scott that just squared it. And I hit the ball into the roof of the net, and it's just like slow motion. And I'm thinking, please go in. And it did. Like I said, it hit the roof of the net. And I think there was only like 3 minutes of added extra time. And obviously, it was just absolutely fantastic. I couldn't sleep that night, just because I was buzzing. And like I say, to score on a big stage like that was just like phenomenal. And it like, I'll always remember it. I'll never forget that moment.
Well, what you've just said there is there'll be some girls and young girls on this call more probably thinking, you know, I want to score in the World Cup. I want to do this, you know, and dream about doing that. And for them to listen to you having done that is just amazing for them. That will give them such a boost to know that is possible, and that, you know, they've just listened to it in front of their faces now. So I'm a little bit jealous, actually. I'm a little bit envious there. What have been the biggest challenges in your career that you've needed to overcome? Jess, do you want to take that one first?
Yeah, like I said before when I was talking about my story, like at such a young age, I feel like I've dealt with a lot of challenges. Like even I knew I wanted to be a footballer from a young age, and I didn't have the luxuries of my mum driving me to training. I'd have to get the bus myself to training, but I'd always find a way. And I was doing that at a young age. And I think obviously when I'd get there, I'd see that everyone else is getting picked up by the parents. So I used to feel like a little bit different in that respect and a little bit embarrassed. So on a couple of occasions, I'd like hide and then I'd go and catch my bus. But, you know, I'd say that was kind of one challenge from where I've come from to where I am now. Yeah. But I'd say obviously in the latter stages of my career, like I've been struggling with injuries, and I think that is probably in the time that I've been a professional footballer, has probably been one of my most hardest times, because it is mentally challenging. Like I feel like I've not left rehab for the last 2 years, which is a struggle. But I feel like from my journey, I've got that resilience and I've got that passion and I've got that desire, and I feel like I'm just going to continue with that, and I'll do my utmost to get back to where I was physically on pitch.
You will do. You've got the every confidence you will do. You've got all the support of obviously teammates and everyone else. So you'll get there and it'll be great. And I'm sure the Liverpool fans listening on the call can't wait to get back down to Prenton or wherever they're playing and watch you play again. Yeah, Rach?
I've thought about this one, and more for me, like I said earlier in the call, I'm such a home person, and my challenge was actually to leave home and move down to Reading. And it was, at the time, it was a decision that I had to make quite quickly. I was at Sunderland at the time, and if I'm honest, I never ever thought I'd leave Sunderland. I thought I was there, I was settled, you know, I'm still at home, I'm with my family, I'm with my friends, me comfort blanket. And Sunderland were kind of going a bit more stepping backwards, and I thought, look, this is the time. If I don't do it now, I never will. And I knew Reading were interested, and I had a phone call with Kelly, and my main challenge was, can I leave home? Can I live away from home? I'm 26 and I've never been away from home. And yeah, looking back again, if I hadn't done it then, I would never have done it. I'd probably still be at home, and I probably certainly wouldn't be at Liverpool. But it was just that the jump I needed to take, and I'm so glad I did it. Looking back again, I've become such a better player and a person, because of it. You know, living away from home, you've got to fend for yourself. And not saying I didn't do that at home, but me learning away from home and kind of getting to know more about myself was a big thing for me. And yeah, for that's my kind of challenge, you know, touch wood, injury wise and things like that. But yeah, a challenge for me was moving out of my comfort zone, away from that, and fending for myself. And I'm so glad I did it. Yeah,
I can relate to that as well. That's one of my big things. When I moved to Liverpool, I've always been a home bird as well, and that was the one thing that was scary for me. Not moving to Liverpool, because I think you're a little bit fearless when you're younger and you just want to do it. But moving away from my family, and what helped me was I had my girlfriend then, wife now, Leona, and I think it could have been a lot harder for me if I didn't have her. Because as I said, moving away from home is a huge thing. But again, girls on this call will know that with you being apprehensive and worried about that, you did it. And you've come through it. So that'll give loads, again, major confidence that they can do that as well. So thanks for that, Rach. What are your aims and ambitions, and how will you hopefully achieve them? Rach, can you take that one first?
Yeah, a bit like Julie. Obviously, the main one is to get Liverpool back where they belong, into the WSL. You know, it's not just the 11 on the pitch, it's the whole squad, it's the whole staff, bottom to top. Like you said, whether it's you're taking out the bins or whether you're on the pitch getting them 3 points, hopefully at the weekend, it's a team effort. And yeah, that's for me, short term, hopefully we can do that. Long term, obviously I'm not getting any younger, but I want to play as long as I can. And if that's at Liverpool, fantastic. But I just want to do the best for Liverpool while I'm here. And, you know, if I end up getting a new contract at the end of it, fantastic. If not, I do me bit while I'm here to get them and leave them in the best place possible, which is hopefully back in the WSL.
Brilliant. Superb. Right. So we're going to get all four of you back on now. We've got some questions to you all. So if Julie and Comfort can unmute, please. There we go. So what challenges face young players and how can we support them to overcome? Julie, do you want to take that first? I think you've already talked about it a little bit before.
Yeah, I think, well, it depends on what we call challenges, because obviously with International Women's Day and the theme being Choose Your Challenge, this is what we've been doing with our RTC players currently. We delivered a workshop recently just about what this Choose Challenge means to you, and how we challenge. So obviously the current pandemic is highlighted with everybody, like we've said, the challenge that we've faced with that. But like Jess is alluded to there, that the travel piece as well, that having to get to training. I think for me, I think the hardest challenge will be is to make sure that they want to become the best they can be. And there's also as well, don't be afraid of failure, because of that failure piece. Because I think when we do go into that and we do, it's not fail, but if we make mistakes, it's the way you learn. And I think that's the way you challenge yourself. So if you want to challenge yourself to become a better player, just keep on challenging yourself individually. That's what the best advice I'd give, or the best challenge that we can give.
Right. Comfort?
Yeah, I think another thing that could be done, including what Julie's just said, is resource. One of the things that we've all mentioned is trying to, make it through this pandemic. And if there's any young player out there, any young girl out there that is, you know, hoping to be like Jessica or Rachel one of these days, and peradventure they are struggling due to the pandemic, you know, just making sure that they've got the necessary kits and be able to get to football training, I think would go a long way. Because if parents struggle, you know, then there's a possibility that this young girl might not be able to fulfill her dreams. So just ensuring that once that, you know, girl child is spotted and she's passionate about the game, that resources are available for her and her family to be able to achieve those dreams.
Superb. Right.
Yeah, a bit like what Comfort said, you know, just having that support, not just on the pitch, but off it as well. It's really easy just to, you know, when they're there at training, be there for them. But it's more important when they're away from the pitch. I've certainly learned that more so probably at Sunderland. You know, we were lucky enough to have that support off the pitch, and whether it be, you know, you had education behind you, and that was something that you did alongside your football. They were really supportive in that. And, you know, just an open forum as to where, you know, if you want advice, come and knock on the door, and don't ever be frightened to ask, because you'll never be turned away, especially in women's football. You know, we're very open with our fans, and if anyone's got any questions, we always answer them. And you've just got to be honest, because if you're not honest, they'll never know. And like, if they don't ask, they'll never know. So always being that support network between each other, because that's really important.
Incredible advice, Jess.
No, I think exactly what everyone said. I think resources is really important. Obviously, just going off the back of what I said, I think just the access to it, and not only that, like Losey, I think it's spot on what Losey said about the educational side of things, because football is a short career, and I think especially when you put in all your heart into it as well, and you really want to make a career of it, it is a short career, and you've got to look forward, and you've got to plan for the future as well. So I think that's something that's really important, and if we can continue to provide more support in that respect, I think that's really important.
So for all of you now, if you can offer 2 bits of advice for the people, you know, the girls and the women that are listening on this call, 2 bits of advice about achieving their goals, what would it be? Do you want to take this one first, Julie?
I think I'll go back to the last question, and that's don't prepare to fail. You know, don't worry about that. I think also dream big. Little girls with dreams became women with vision. You heard the quote, and it's true. You know, you look at Jess. I mean, obviously, I worked with Jess at Leeds, and this is a long time ago, by the way. I won't say how long, but you cross paths with people. Like, obviously, she was in the 16s when I was in the at Leeds, and she was also come through to the first team when I was just coming to my end of career. But we've gone 2 different journeys, and I think that's what we're trying to allude to with players, that you do come out of different environments and you do go on different journeys, but you're on the same path, so to speak. So obviously we've now come back together here, and the best advice is to dream big, work as hard as you can, be passionate about what you do, work really hard, but definitely that keep on working, but don't be afraid to make mistakes.
I think that's great what you said there as well, because this week obviously being International Women's, I'm not going to call it day, it's International Women's, every day is International Women's Day for me. I've got a daughter and wife and I want the best for them all the time, but for the people that don't know, the new FA chairman, it's going to look like, hopefully it's going to be a woman for the first time in the 157-year history. Debbie Hewitt is the favourite to get it, so I think that would be an incredible, amazing thing, and why not as well? If whoever, it doesn't matter, you know, the sex of anybody, whoever deserves it, whoever is best for the job, brilliant. So I hopefully, and also another bit, Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won the NFL, and they've actually got 3 women on the staff. We've got 4 exec women on the staff at the foundation as well. So for all the girls listening, like Julie just said, dream big, dream as big as you can. Rach, 2 bits of advice.
Enjoy it. You've got to enjoy it first and foremost. If you didn't, you wouldn't be playing. You know, what started off probably, I'm speaking for Jess as well, as a hobby when we were younger. You had to go and enjoy it, otherwise you wouldn't go along. And I still enjoy it now. You know, even if it wasn't my job, I'd still go and play because I just enjoy football. I love it. And the second bit would be always be willing to learn. No matter kind of whether you're at England seniors, whether you're at Liverpool Women first team, it doesn't matter. you've got to be willing to learn and open to conversations about your performance, you know, about your mistakes. You never know too much. You know, I always look at people like De Gea and stuff in the Premier League, and they're at the top of their game, but they're going to training every day, wanting to learn and willing to learn. And I still learn now, and I'm 30 years old, and I still learn now and take in information like a sponge, as I was when I was 14, 15, and I was still learning. But yeah, enjoy it and always be willing to learn no matter where you get. Fantastic. Jess?
Probably similar to Grundy. I think she's spot on with what she said, and probably something that I've come to learn throughout my career is I feel like you learn more from the setbacks. I think that's where you discover more about yourself, and similar to what you said, Losey, that's where you kind of learn the most. And if you can absorb information from the people around you that are supporting you in them times, then you'll become a much better player. So I think that's one for me. And also I think it's not only the stuff on the pitch, it's the stuff behind the scenes, the hard work, the extra minutes that you put in. If you want to be the best, it's all about making probably little small sacrifices that the other players aren't making around you to get you to the top of the game. And if you can put them two ingredients together, I think you'll be very successful.
Superb. Comfort?
Yeah, I'll say 3 bits, which is my favorite thing. I got that from my mom. It's to be dedicated. You know, when you're dedicated to achieving a goal, you will go all out and get it, and to be determined to make it. You know, like Julie said, don't be fearful. Just go for it. And for me, above all, is to be disciplined. I think, you know, you being disciplined as to, you know, like I said, yourself on with the game. All this is in the bubble of being disciplined. If you don't look after yourself and train and put that extra bit in it, you might not be enjoying it. And football is fun. It's fun. When you fall in love with it, it'll be so easy for you to wake up in the morning or whenever your training is and go out there and have fun with it.
Brilliant. Yeah, the two, when I was young, Stevie Gridget said to me, and Rachel probably know what that is. He said, always be the hardest worker in the team and always treat people the way you want to be treated yourself. So that was the advice I got from a young age. Brilliant from all of you there. And, you know, we've had 8 bits of advice there, a lot of them similar, but the girls will take a lot from that. Conscious of time, we've got about 5 or 6 minutes left. So if I do hurry you up, especially you, Julie, I know you like to talk, and I might just give you a little clip. Do you think girls, the theme of this year's International Women's Day is choose to challenge. What do you choose to challenge in your life, and how do you do that? Rach, want to go first?
Yeah, in my own life, always challenge myself to be the best version of me, and push myself every day on and off the pitch. You know, again, I touched on it earlier, it's easy to turn up at training and be the best version of you, to be in that starting 11 at the weekend, but off the pitch, you've also got to not prove yourself to anybody else, but to yourself, and, you know, just push yourself every day, wanting better for you, and when you're better, you'll push everyone else to be better.
Superb. Jess?
Oh, spot on what Losey said. I think it's like she said, just challenging yourself on and off the pitch. That's really important, and especially when you're in a team environment and a part of the team, it's only going to help stimulate that healthy competition, which then helps on a game day. But I think as well, it's not just football as well. It's like I spoke about education as well, like challenging yourself in different aspects of life and figuring out what you enjoy. And I know for me at the minute, because I didn't go to the best school in the world, I wasn't very good at maths, or at least I thought I wasn't good at maths. And recently I've challenged myself to do that, and I've discovered that I'm actually quite good at it. So it's exploring different things about yourself, not just as a professional footballer, but just as a person as well, outside of football.
You can come out with my maths, Jess, because I am terrible. Comfort?
I'll say be true to yourself and ask for help when you need it. One thing that I've realized was growing up, because of the challenges that I faced as a young football player, I've always thought I could do everything and never ask for help. And that has never gotten me anywhere. So definitely ask for help when you need it, because that would help you be true to yourself and be a better version of yourself.
Ah, superb. Right, we've just got a few more. I'm going to try and scroll down to a few of the questions now. There has been a couple. I'll answer this one first. Amelia. Oh, that one's actually for me. But yes, I will be doing more goalkeeping videos with my daughter, so they will be on, Amelia. Another one from Amelia is, I play in goal. So this is Stu H. I play in goal and would like to know what is the best training drill to improve my jumping.
Question. What we do in the gym for jumps is just get a little box, no matter how big it is. I'm not too sure how old you are, but you know, start with a small one and just literally from the floor jump onto the box. Do however many reps you want. Could be 5, could be 10. And then every week or so, just try and increase the box size a little by little, and that'll really help your power pushing through the floor. Don't dip all the way down. Just have a little bend in your knees as if you were in goal. Because if you were in goal, in our gym programs, we tend to kind of mimic the movements we do in goal. So if I'm doing box jumps, I'll only squat down a little bit as if I was pushing off in goal. But yeah, that's what I do, and it certainly helps me. So hopefully it'll help you.
Brilliant. This one is for Rachel and Jess. Oh, sorry, I've got another one here. I can't see it's off. What ages were you all when you started playing football? Julie, do you want to go first?
I was 16. So in terms of, we didn't have an RTC program, didn't have a centre of excellence. So it was 16, which is obviously in this day and age, it's a late start.
Yeah. Comfort?
I'd say about the age of 8, because that's when I can remember. But I know I've always gone to the stadium with my mom from a very young age. But the age of reason, I think I remember from 8.
Superb. Jess?
I think I was around, I remember starting very young. I remember being introduced, probably similar age to Comfort, but same as Julie, when I first started playing as part of a team, or kind of taking it seriously. It was around 16. So when I met you at Leeds.
Rach, come to you.
I was about 6 or 7. My brother was on a team at the time, and he went along to training, and me and my mum went and watched. And I remember his coach said, "Oh, Barry, does your sister want to join in?" And I remember not even hesitating. I was like, yes, straight on. Funnily enough, I wasn't a goalkeeper till I was about 15, but playing football from the age of about 6 or 7.
That's similar to me, actually. I started in goal when I was an outfielder, and the goalie got injured, and I went in goal when I was 14. So, yeah, similar to you there. Right, I'm just going to try and get through a few more because we're running out of time. So I'll wrap it up. Rachel and Jess, is it harder now being full-time footballers to pursue a dual career or alternate pursuits like education? That's a good question, probably. Rach, do you want to answer that one?
I don't think it's hard now. You know, as professional footballers, we train from 10 till maybe 3 o'clock. You have got plenty of time if you want to, and if you dedicate yourself to it, to fit something else in. Like Jess alluded to before, she's doing maths and things now. I actually did a criminology course 2 years ago. It was just an online course that, you know, away from the pitch, because you try to get away from football as much as you can when you're off the pitch. You know, your life's not football. And it's just, I think now more than ever, it's really accessible, but it just takes a little bit of hard work and dedication to manage both.
Okay, for Jess, what are your plans? This is from Maddie Duffy. I think we all know Maddie. What are your plans after football?
I think I quite like giving back. I feel like as a person myself, I'd like to be in a role where I can help people. I'm not quite sure what that will be in exactly yet, but even, I don't know, I quite like potentially working with people with disadvantages through sport, or even disabilities through like football and sport. So I'll probably look to go into that area, because I feel like obviously with my experience in the game and where I've kind of come from on my journey, I can probably help people in that respect. So I'll probably look to go into that.
That's great to hear. Well, listen, ladies, for me, I'm sure the girls on the call tonight and the ladies and women on the call tonight, I'm sure they've learned so much. I certainly have. I know Lucy has. She's been listening through there as well. We really thank you. I hope everybody's enjoyed this evening with Women's and Girls in Football event, which has given us a fantastic insight into our Forguests footballing journeys, from aspiring young children to becoming role models for women and girls football to future generations. Please, this is another reminder now, if you would like more information on all opportunities to participants for Girls in Football, please visit the LFC Foundation website, foundation.liverpoolfc.com/ for female and only mixed sessions delivered by LFC Foundation coaches. I want to say a big thank you to all the guests tonight for their time. I know you're all extremely busy and they're great insights. And I want to thank all the audience, all the people that are on the call. I hope you've got something from it. And I want to share this. This is a QR code. We need your feedback if possible.